So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and question for you all: am I the only one getting mesmerized by 3D printing but not knowing really where to go with it? Let's discuss. So for a long time I've been looking at 3D printing. I bought some 3D printed tanks, and they're pretty good. They're cheap, comparatively so at least, and they come out pretty well. And up to now they've always been filament printed, so the ones that sort of lay layer after layer after layer of little slices, I guess is the easiest way to call it. So the challenge with them is that you can see those slices, but you know what, for wargaming standard models or terrain pieces, they're absolutely outstanding. And I've been umming and ahhing about whether to buy one of these printers for myself, whether I'd make use of it, whether it be a good investment of money. And as I watched the prices drop, this is just one at the moment, seems to be pretty good at the moment, £300, but you can get them for £220 or so. They've appealed to me, and I thought, should I buy them? The only thing that put me off up till now is that the setting them up. I'm not technical, I'm not particularly handy, but the idea of getting the leveling of the bed just right and making sure it stays just right and having it just set up in the right way has put me off. However, I've been watching videos and people making it looking really easy and thinking, should I? And the number of times I've gone to the dreaded Amazon and put one of these things in my cart and just about to press the buy, and then put save later and think about it some more. Of course, now it's got even more complicated, and that's because now you can get a 3D resin printer for around about the same price. This one here, particularly good one, the Mars, $229.99. I mean, just ridiculously cheap for this sort of technology. Now I remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, going round the McLaren Formula One factory and seeing them use massive machines to print out purpose-built little elements, little things they couldn't make any other way, and being absolutely mesmerized. And the guy there saying, you know what, in a few years time you'll have these in your home. And I'm thinking, well, why would I need something like this? And then I look at them and I think, I do need this in my life, but do I? Now this is where I've been getting a bit confused. So again, I've now got a double complication. Well, I guess a triple. First of all, do I need a 3D printer? Am I going to get full value out of one? You know, I'm a wargamer. I like to play with my toy soldiers and my toy tanks and my toy planes and my toy ships on terrain boards. That's what I do. Everything I set up to do around my hobby is around getting the figures on the table. You've seen my painting style. It's a question of volume and quantity, and that'll do, looks nice on mass standard, rather than being those of us who, and there are some really fine painters and people who just paint for the love of painting, or model build for the love of model building, and almost the game doesn't happen, or is a sideshow of it. So, you know, I'm very much a wargamer who comes at things from that direction. I'm thinking, do I really need a 3D printer? Is it something that's going to enhance my life? My wargaming life, obviously not my real life, because it's going to cost me. The other complication with that is then, which one do I go for? Do I go for a resin one, which are lovely and cheap, and the beauty of the resin thing is so they produce a figure that, or you can produce individual figures that are much more detailed than the filament ones. They are, yeah, they can build a much more closely defined figure, and you can buy all sorts of designs online. You can get them for free for both these sorts of printers. However, the challenge is the resin printers are highly toxic. The resin itself is very bad for you. You have to keep them in well ventilated rooms. Now that's not a problem for me. I've got a garage which I can put it in, which is warm enough, but is well ventilated and what have you. But still, you need to wear you need to wear gloves, you need to wear goggles, and you really don't want to be around this stuff too much. It's poisonous, and can be caustic to the skin, and you need to use alcohol to clean it off, and it's a process. You have to then cure the figure. The print beds are not particularly big, so that's really focuses you down the route of figures and tanks and vehicles, small vehicles, whereas the filament printers that I was showing you earlier, they're much better for the larger items. So if I'm going to do terrain, and I'm really struggling with thinking fundamentally, do I need it? Now, funny enough, I put this question up on a 3D Facebook page just to see what people thought. So here we go, this is me. I put it up on 3D printing for historic wargaming Facebook page, which is a really good page of people of all different abilities, some running businesses, some, you know, it's all sorts of things on here. But as all Facebook pages, you have to take it a little bit with a pinch of salt. But I put it up here and I said, look, honest advice please, I'm a massive tabletop historical gamer, can't resist adding to his metal and resin mounting regularly. Often nearly bought a 3D printer, but I haven't quite hit the buy button. The reason is, one, I'm nervous about managing the toxic nature of resins, and two, I'm wondering how much I'll actually use it. So grateful for any feedback from historical gamers as how much they use their printers and whether they would advise getting one or just spending the money on more commercially available minis, which I'll probably do anyway. I've had 96 responses on this page, and I'm sure I'll get more in the coming days. And I'd love to say it's made it clearer to me. It hasn't, and that's why I throw this out there to see whether anybody else in the community really has a view on whether they found it genuinely a useful investment in their time, or whether they're just still wrestling with the same kind of thought process. Do you buy one? Do you not? If you buy one, do you buy a resin one or do you buy a filament one? How am I going to use it? The consensus here, and I'm broadly consolidating those 96 comments, is that if you, it depends what you're going to use it for. So if you are looking to use it for terrain and buildings, then a filament is probably best. If you're looking to do miniatures, then a resin one is best. That's the broad category. It's about availability of models, availability, how good your modeling skills are. Now you can buy and get for free the designs to produce these things online. There's various sites you can go to, and I've been there as well. I've even invested in a couple, even though I haven't got a printer, in some Kickstarters that are doing designs for things, and they look pretty good. You don't know till you try, but they look pretty good. Now you still need to do some adaptation of them. If you're using a resin, you need to put supports in. Now that worries me, because how easy is that to do? So I'm really struggling, and I can see that if I was doing a science fiction Space Marines type army, then possibly having the ability to churn out huge numbers of resin figures would be useful. But I'm not. I'm doing historical stuff, and I don't see as much historical stuff on these 3D design sites as I do science fiction and space and what have you, and fantasy stuff. So that's a problem. So yeah, so that's the consensus. The other people quite often comments on here about depends if you want another hobby, which immediately scares me, right? So people are saying it's great, it's fantastic, but it takes a lot of time and energy to get it right, to work on it, to do it really efficiently. You need to learn it, you need to adapt it. You know, it's like anything, you get better at it the more you do it, and it's not something at the moment you can just jump into and just do and then leave it for 6 months. And indeed, is that really worth it? You know, even at £300 with all the kit to buy one of these things, that's actually quite a lot of lead and plastic that I could buy for 300 quid. And would I get better value out of that? And that's what I'm struggling with. So maybe I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. You know, Do you have a 3D printer? If so, which one do you have, and do you use it all the time? And I'm not talking about people, I know there's a couple of guys who I follow who use it as a commercial business, and I understand that, and that's great. Paint and Glue, I've bought stuff for him already. He churns out tanks and vehicles and other things for Second World War, which are extremely useful and actually very, very good indeed. And it's a business, and that's different. But I'm talking about us hobbyists, those who just like to play the game. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Are you wrestling with this idea? My gut feel at the moment is I'm going to hold off. I've sold a whole load of old figures that I found in the garage, and I'm going to hold off for the time being for this very reason. This is a cartoon that somebody put up, and somebody looking down a dark hole. You know, if you go in there, there's no coming back, says the figure. I have to know what happened to my friends. And it says 3D printing and stepping into the abyss. The fool, says the old man. And that's kind of what I'm feeling at the moment about this. My gut feel is I'm going to hold off for a bit, see how much further the technology goes, see whether it gets better still, whether there's more 3D designs out there to utilize, whether the setup and use of these machines is a lot easier than it currently is, and then we'll see how we go from there. Anyway, love to know what you think. Just don't know why I did this video, but just it's front of mind because I'm going round and round and round in circles, and I think I'm going to take all those 3D printers out of my Amazon basket for the time being. Anyway, hope all is well with you, enjoying your games, having fun, loving all the videos. Thanks for everyone who's watching and all the subscribers. 524, 25 at the moment. Fantastic. Thanks so much, guys. And I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.